What we have here is the U.S.SAWS one-man polyurea pump, and we're going to go through the initial setup and start up the machine, and then also show you how to fill it up and shoot some joints with it. And at the end of this, we'll show you how to clean it. So first off, you get your pump. It's brand new out of the box. It has already been run in our factory with hydraulic oil to check for leaks and make sure it's running correctly. So what you do is there's a little bit of oil that are in the tanks right now, so you can see that when you open it up, and they all come like that. So what you're going to do first, open the valves, and that's going to allow any additional oil to drain down into the pump. So then what you're going to do, you can either plug it into the wall, or you can use a small generator, or you can use like a 1500 watt or 2000 watt inverter with a deep cycle marine battery. For this demonstration, we just have it plugged into the wall. So here's your controls here. You have your start and stop here. So to start it, there's a on-off switch down here. Up is on, there's a green power light that comes on, and then one click is on, and that's going to leave the machine on, and one click and that shuts it off. And then you have your speed control up here, so you can operate the on-off with your finger right here, and then your speed control with your thumb as you're shooting the joints. So it's going to come with the static mixer retainer nut and what we call the nightcap mounted onto the manifold. And to start the pump, what you're going to do is make sure that you have a clean 5-gallon bucket mounted over here on the side in the bucket holder, and then remove this, take the nightcap out, and then turn the machine on. And that's going to pump any remaining oil that's in the system. We've already pumped it out, but anything that was left in here, you want to make sure that's completely out before you put your material in. So now what you're going to do, you're going to take one of your static mixers, put it through the retainer nut like that, so that's on there, and then that just screws on like that. And you're going to want to have, this machine comes with 20 of these mixers. It's a good idea to usually have 20 or 40 of them on hand, because you're going to use a few of them every day. You're going to use one mixer to start to check your ratio, and then we're going to remove this right after we fill the pumps and pump a little bit out. And we'll get rid of this one and put a new one on. And then you're probably going to want to use these for about an hour to an hour and a half, and then you will remove this and put a new one on. It's going to start to have a little bit of material that cures up on the end, and we'll show you that when we're doing the joints. But when you have a little, what we call a little booger happening right up there, you want to get rid of this and just put a new one on. That way you don't have any blockages and soft joints when you're done. So, all right, so what we're going to do now that we have that all set, another thing is you can put your wand right here, and then that static mixer is going to drip. It's kind of a bad angle, but it's going to drip right into the bucket right there, so you don't have any spills on the floor. So what we're going to put in here is a Metzger-Maguire polyurea. It's the RS88. There's a Part A and a Part B. And the Part A is what we call the polyol, and the Part B is what we call the ISO. And the one thing that we want to make sure everybody knows is that just because this material is Part A and Part B, that's fine. They're going to go into tank A and tank B. There are other manufacturers of the material where the A and the B is opposite, so that the polyol is actually the B and the ISO is actually the A. So you just want to make sure that the ISO and the polyol is consistent on which tanks you're going into if you're going to switch manufacturer's material. Okay, if there's any question about that, make sure that you call either U.S.SAWS or the manufacturer of the material, and we should be able to help you determine which one goes in which tank. All right, so now what we're going to do, we'll start with the B, just since it's closer to me, and remove this lid. And now the other thing you're going to want to do, make sure you have a different mixer for each material. You're going to want to pre-mix the material before it goes into the bucket. So I'll undo this, and Bill, you grab the drill. All right, and also it's a good idea to do it on an area. This is a plastic lined drop cloth, so if anything spills, it's not going to get onto the floor.
I'm trying not to rip everything
Right.
that I've got.
When you're mixing it, you don't want to mix it too fast. You don't want to introduce a bunch of air bubbles into the material. You want to keep it as consistent as possible. We're only going to put about a gallon in for now, and then we'll do the rest of it. But one thing I want you to notice is how you can see the level of material is right there, which is a good thing with these tanks. You'll be able to see the level going up and down. Also, if there's ever any off ratio problems, you'll be able to see one is rapidly getting lower down in the bucket than the other one. So there's always going to be a little bit of a difference, but it shouldn't be more than 10 or 15% difference. And a lot of that has to do with just the viscosity of the material, and also temperature has a lot to do with that too. If it's really cold, this material gets really thick. All right, the other thing that should be noted is when you're filling these tanks, you should always have one lid completely closed when you're dumping this one in, and then close this one before opening this one. And that way, if there's any spills or splashes or anything, you won't have cross-contamination. Because if just one little drop of that or a little bit of it goes into the wrong tank, it cures almost instantly, and then as it makes its way down into the system, that's when you end up with a clog in it. All right, so that one's done. That about the same amount? Yeah, it's pretty close. Okay. So once we have our material in our tanks, what we're going to do is turn the machine on slowly, have your speed control all the way down, push the button to start it, and then slowly ramp it up to speed. And what you're going to see, that's pushing out all the oil, and now we have polyurea coming out. So what I'm going to do is take this piece of cardboard, turn the machine on, put a little bit on there, and I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to set that there, and what we're going to want to do is remove this static mixer. Just let that drain into the bucket. Take this out, throw this one in the garbage, get a new one. Put that on, and now I can put this up here. And it's always a good idea to have some rags hanging around so I can wipe this stuff off my hands and wait for this. And you can see already it's already tacking up. That's not liquid anymore, that's a solid. So that means we're good to go, and we're going to go shoot some joints now.